Coach Messingham had really praised Will Howard for putting some size in the weight room so far. How have you perceived him coming along? I know it's a unique situation, but since he got to Manhattan, at least at one point early.
Yeah, no, Will's done a great job, and obviously, really I was really excited about his potential even through the recruiting process, just understanding kind of his makeup, and he's a very organized learner, thinker, processor, and so watching him come in and not even just the weight that he added, but kind of watching his body change. I think it was, came in right around that 215-ish mark, put on about a little over maybe that. He was probably closer to 220, but now he's up to like 226, 227. And then, like I said, not just that 7-8 pounds, it was the composition of it. I mean, you could tell his definition and his lower body, had really improved even just in that winter training session.
Collin, hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, Scott, how we doing, man?
Doing great, man. Hope your family's doing well. What do you find yourself emphasizing more now to Skylar in the absence of any live reps during a spring football practice, and how challenging is it for a competitive quarterback to improve at a time when you can't see any tangible fruits of your labor on the football field?
Right. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, and I think it's none of us have played or coached under these circumstances before, as far as just trying to create as many, like you're saying, learning opportunities as you can. I mean, we were doing some even just assignments 2 days ago. I gave him an assignment one night to go through just some, different cadence stuff in the mirror, just trying to get actual reps, kind of walking yourself through it, and just trying to be creative like that, for an older guy, having been through what he's been through, and he's able to superimpose himself on the tape pretty well. So just watching more and more tape and just going through and getting as many mental reps as you can. But, it's a challenge, and we're doing the best we can.
Hey, on a positive side, what kind of blessing is it that you have a proven quarterback who's entering his senior year, who's familiar with the system?
It's big time. I mean, it's it's like exactly what you said. I mean, second year in the system, already been through it, has a lot of reps under his belt in live scenarios. So, obviously still missed the practice time, but obviously going to make the best of it, and got that experience is very important.
Collin, what would you say is the biggest challenge for a quarterback when he has to play with 5 new offensive linemen?
Yeah, I mean, you can't just at any position, you can't substitute experience, and those live bullets, I say all the time. I mean, it's, sometimes there's things pop up when those live bullets start coming at you that, you just haven't experienced until you're out there. So, but, I think I'm excited. I think those young guys have really done a nice job rising to the challenge. I know Noah Johnson has done a tremendous job stepping up and providing, leadership that obviously losing a lot of seniors naturally happens. But, I mean, he's done a great job of organizing film sessions with those guys, creating a lot of communication between, those O linemen, but then also those O linemen to Skylar. And so they're already working on it. It's going to be a process. I mean, we all want it to happen, and that gelling factor to happen a heck of a lot sooner than later. But, we're going to walk through it one step at a time.
Coach, in general, how comfortable have you become with the recruiting process, at this current time? And how do you feel like kids on their end are responding to what they're dealing with without visits, et cetera?
I think it's for a lot of things, I think it's just put everything on pause. I think, we've been just like everybody has. I mean, really making an aggressive effort to try to do everything like we were in person, as far as, trying to get as good of an evaluation on players as we can, trying to build relationships virtually, as best you can. Honestly, it's been great for us to kind of build that infrastructure, so to speak, to be able to do that with recruits. It's probably better than I was expecting walking into it. It's obviously not as good as you want it, being able to shake their hand and have them on campus and really get to know them in person. But, I think from the hard part is just it's hard for young guys and impossible really for them to make decisions and final decisions and move forward with things until they actually get, their feet on your campus. So it's put a lot of things on hold, but we've still been able to develop good relationships and push forward. So.
Collin, you've given a lot of speeches before big games in your K-State career. I'm curious, at this time at Kansas State, when there's doom and gloom and a lot of uncertainty right now, what would be your message? What would be your speech to Kansas State fans right now during this time?
I think the biggest thing is just be patient, and that's it's not really rah-rah, I guess, maybe if that's but we just got to be patient. We got to hang together and know this. I mean, it's going to end. We're going to play football this fall, and and then when we are able to get together, let's make it one heck of a family reunion. And on our end, it's going to be making sure that we're as prepared as we can be under adverse circumstances, and then obviously when everything's safe and everything's ready to roll, then we pack that place out and come back together like never before.
Anybody else?
Yeah, another one on Skylar. When you rewatch tape of last year, just how did he grow as a passer, and where can he improve even more this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, I mean, he made some massively big plays on third down. I mean, we had some possessions that were saved in 3rd and 7 to 10 and 3rd and 11 plus that, statistically are really, really tough situations that he really made some big plays for us and continued drives that, ultimately were able to, to win some games for us in the pass game, which was huge. I think just even going back, even the more we watch, I think the trust and continuity amongst our guys between quarterback and receiver, I think got a lot better. That one comes to mind, that touchdown he threw to Sebastian on the kind of the deep over route at Texas Tech. You look at when he had to let that thing go. I don't know if he lets that thing go as early as he did and has the trust in him if it was week 2 or 3, you know what I mean? And so, and I think that's going to do nothing but improve, and just that trust and continuity with all those guys, Sebastian, Malik, Joaquin, all those things, because it happens so fast, and there's got to be just a high level of trust and confidence both ways, that they're going to go in on the route, and we got to let the ball go. And I think that's something that we'll see improve, as we move into next season, as well as, Skylar does a great job of extending the play and making off-schedule plays, and balancing that of when to hang in the pocket and be able to just wait that extra half second and get it out of his hand, and knowing the fine line that is that balancing act. So, a lot of things as always, but just proud of how he's attacking it and dissecting it and working on his craft. So I'm excited to see and get out there on the field.
I have one last recruiting question. You kind of referenced,
yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Kids having to, make decisions about seeing things. Have you guys talked about the possibility of more decommitments, switch commitments at this period as kids are committing to schools they haven't even seen, going forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely could be a real thing. People making decisions now sight unseen, and then, October rolls around and they've been able to get out, and then, who knows? I mean, it's all uncertain. I mean, again, we're trying to really take time and build relationships at that grassroots level. So I hope that we're not going to face a lot of that, but that could be a trend that, who knows? Like I said, it's all, this is all new. So we'll kind of see how it goes and watch it.
I got one for you, Collin.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself stressing with the backup quarterbacks next season whenever they get on campus behind Skylar?
Well, I've already been stressing it to them, and fortunately, I mean, my room is the same. January 1st, my room will, this last January 1st, it'll look the same as it does this August 1st, which is kind of cool from the standpoint of I've got 6 guys, and it's going to be those 6 guys, and I mean, my message from day one is, hey, we got to compete, and it doesn't matter if you just got here and walked in the door or if you've been here for 4 years. I mean, you've got to act and prepare and carry yourself like the starting quarterback. I mean, we all know Skylar's going to take the first snap, but at the end of the day after that, I mean, it's every single day and everything you do. What I told them in January to whenever we report for camp or summer or get started or whatever, you've got to prepare like you are the starting quarterback and you're competing for that job. And you never know when your day is going to come. I mean, that's the life of a quarterback. I mean, I always thought it was harder to back up than even start, just because you never knew when, hey, get in the game and you had to grab your helmet and go kind of a thing. And so, and those windows are small because, it's the trust of your team is so important and it's so fragile. And to earn that trust, those windows are small. And so when your number is called on, and if you're not ready and you don't answer, sometimes that's a hard thing to earn back. And so that's what I told them, and they've been doing a great job. And we got a couple guys that, I'm excited to see how it all shakes out, but they'll be ready to go and excited about it. So.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, that was basically, Collin, that was what my question was going to be about the backup spot. But I guess specifically, how close was it at the end of last year between Jaron and Nick at that point? And I guess how much did you really expect Jaron to potentially push to get to the number 2 by the end of the spring if you guys have been able to go through practice? Yeah, no, I mean, I think it really varied by the day. Some days it was really close, and some days, we felt like Nick's experience really kind of gave him the edge, which is why he, stayed in that number 2 position. I think the longer that competition goes, I think the better they'll both get. And, hopefully, some of these young guys will put their name in the hat and Will and Max and Bart or whoever it ends up being, can push those guys as well. So, we're going to have to get a good evaluation for, 3 to 5, 6 practices to see who's, like you're saying, going to be those 2 that are going to compete, and ultimately, get whoever is going to be that number 2 guy ready to go. So.